And 2024. Yes, it is Chan 2024 as the tournament was initially slated for 2024 but since postponed for various reasons to 2025. In the curtain opener, they defeated the Stallions of Burkina Faso 2-0, and then in their second assignment, they triumphed by a narrow 1-0 win against Mauritania, and yesterday
gets the ball to the edge of the area. Oh, cushioned against the upright and then turned home by Clement Mzize. Toldo readies himself. Faisal Saloom puts it into a great area. And they have their second. Timing of his leap, that's so impressive. This looks better for Madagascar. They fold one back. Oh, they have life once again as they become. And they did beat Burkina Faso on the opening day. The first tie-breaking criteria is head-to-head, so they would stay above them. Oh! Here comes the cross. Faisal Saloom puts in a great ball. Kapombe, lovely bend on the ball. Into the area, lifting it forward. Hamoud. And the ball does come back in. Play for. Still are very much in the running to make it through to the knockouts.
14:06 Central African Time. A quick update on the Chan tournament fixtures that are taking place today. Yesterday there were two matches. It is the highlights that you've just listened to. Taifa Stars beating Madagascar by 2-1, and Central African Republic going down against Mauritania by 1-0. Today the co-hosting nation Kenya, Harambee Stars, will take on Morocco, and that match kicked off at 1400 Central African Time. There's also a match between Chipolopolo of Zambia and the Portuguese-speaking outfit Angola at 5 p.m. Central African Time. Then tomorrow it will be South Africa's Bafana Bafana up against West African's Guinea at 4 p.m. Central African Time. Another co-hosting nation, the Uganda Cranes, will welcome the West Africans Niger tomorrow at 1900 Central African Time. It is now time to get to our first conversation, where we are talking the sport of martial arts, Extreme Fighting Championship, where we will be talking to the EFC flyweight champion Willie White Lion van Rooyen. Van Rooyen defended his flyweight title on Thursday in Johannesburg against Moldovan challenger Anatoly Gaffin, just 10 days before Du Plessis puts his middleweight belt online against Sweden's Khamzat Chimaev. Taking place at the WSB EFC Arena in Sandton, South Africa, the main card of EFC 126 opened with an all-South African lightweight heavyweight tilt that saw Zayn Tanas knock out his countryman Stefan Boysen in just 14 seconds with an incredible crescent kick. Let's now welcome the champion to Africa at Play, Willie White Lion van Rooyen. Willie, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Say good morning or good afternoon, sorry. How are you? I'm also doing good, thank you.
No, I'm doing good. I see you still celebrating that victory. Talk to us about the preparations heading to EFC 126. What did it take? How long are we talking about?
The preparation is, I'm always in a fight camp, but normally a preparation is about like a 6-week fight camp, where you just basically improve your technique, improve your fitness as much as you can, upping your level of gameplay. For us, it's like improving the techniques in punching or wrestling, for instance. It was very hard 6 weeks, but it paid off with the with the EFC belt.
You didn't start as a champion. Your journey in martial arts started somewhere. Where did it all begin?
So I started with kickboxing when I was 8 years old. I did it now. I'm doing it now for about 14, almost 15 years, kickboxing. And it improved or evolved. I became national champion. I've been national champion for 7-8 years in a row now in kickboxing. And yeah, we started with my MMA career in about 2021, 2022, there around. And then participated in amateur fights. I fought 14 fights and only lost 2 of them. And yeah, I was also a 2-time national champion again. I went to the World Championships for amateur MMA. I ranked up 4th or 6th place out of I think we were about 36 countries. And I ranked up 6. And yeah, after that, I turned pro. And yeah, now I'm currently on a 7-fight win streak in EFC.
If you have just joined us, we're talking to the Extreme Fighting Championship EFC flyweight champion Willie White Lion van Rooyen. Willie, please do stay on the line. We take a short break. We'll be back after the short break.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Tumetoka kusikiliza wimbo na huu ni utunzi wako, wewe ndio umeandika mistari na imani wewe ndio umeandika mstari. Tuanzie kwenye jina. Wimbo unaenda kwa jina gani?
Wimbo unaitwa Kanjori.
Aha, Kanjori. Kanjori maana yake nini?
Kama jinsi nilivyoimba. Nauza wazo leo, kesho nawaza uzuri wake, mwendo wake. Japata sio mfikilio. Ukekau matendo yake, changu chake.
Unatisha kweli kweli. Aha, Kanjori. Ni historia gani au message gani ambayo imefichama nyuma ya wimbo huu?
Yeah, Kanjori kwa ufupi ni kitu kizuri. Yaani kitu kizuri. Kitu kadogo yani alafu ni kazuri ambako kanavutia kwa kila mtu.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
14:12 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. Do also make time to visit our Channel Africa website. Click on Programs and search for Africa at Play. And at the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you will be able to click on More and listen to conversations you might have missed out on. Also get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook the name of our station, Channel Africa. The SABC is pleased to announce the launch of a new self-registration platform. Vendors wishing to do business with the SABC can self-register on our internally developed platform. Vendors are able to access this platform on our website www.sabc.co.za/SABC under e-tenders or self-register at etender.sabc.co.za and follow the prompts. Visit SABC social media pages for more details.
Africa at Play with Neto Neto Chemane.
The conversation continues with the Extreme Fighting Championship EFC flyweight champion Willie White Lion van Rooyen. Willie, I always find nicknames very exciting. Talk to us about White Lion. How did it come about?
Yeah, it's actually a quite a funny story. I didn't come up with the name myself. It came from my coaches. And yeah, it was one fight. I was fighting it was still my amateur days. And when I fought a guy from DRC, from Congo. And he basically dropped me in the second round. And yeah, somehow I recovered and I ended up winning the fight. At the end of the fight, I ended up finishing the fight in the third round. But yeah, it was basically a war. And yeah, I think from that day on, my coaches just said I had the heart of a lion. And yeah, they came up with, after that fight, they just started calling me White Lion. And yeah, I just kept on going with that from then. I never felt the need to change the name or anything. So yeah.
And taking you back to EFC 126 that took place on Thursday in Sandton, at what point of this fight did you know that this one goes the direction of White Lion?
Basically, from the first round, I felt he was strong in his hands. Definitely had a lot of power, but when he landed one shot. I still have a blue mark on my eye, but not that bad. um, but yeah, he landed the shot, but I like adapted to his speed and power very very quickly, and then I knew skill for skill he's not on my level. I will definitely be able to finish the fight, and that's when I took him down to the ground on the second round, and I managed to get my submission in. So yeah.
You can never do this alone. You've got a team that gives you the necessary support. Who is part of Team White Lion?
So the gym we are training at is called the A-Team Stars. It's still a small gym, but it's growing so fast. It's turning into one of the best gyms in South Africa at the moment, in my eyes personally. And yeah, it's basically a massive family. Everyone there treats each other with the same respect. If you are a new member of the gym, you can join 2 days ago, you can join our gym, and you'll be treated with the same level of respect than the professional fighters of our gym. So it's basically one big family, and yeah, the support that our gym gives to our fighters is just on another level.
What's still coming up for Willie White Lion van Rooyen?
So I'm either going to defend the belt again, hopefully before the end of the year, or if there's an international opportunity coming up, let's say, for instance, the UFC saw my record and they want me to go fight there, then I'll have to relinquish this belt and go over to UFC to fight there. So yeah, at the moment we are just looking at what options are on its way or what options are we going to take. So yeah, I can't tell for 100% now, but it's definitely exciting that's coming.
And practically, how many fights can you have in a year?
Practically, I'd say around 3-4 if you push it. It just depends on how well you recovered from your previous fight. For instance, on this fight, I didn't have any serious injuries or anything. So Monday or tomorrow, I'm already back to training again. So yeah, if you recover nice and quick and you don't have injuries, you can fight within the next 2 months if they manage to match you up with someone. So it just depends on the availability, how available you are to fight. But yeah, I'd say around 3 to 4 times.
And if you're not involved in mixed martial arts, what then do you get up to?
So I'm currently a student. I'm studying at the Tshwane University of Technology. I'm doing my last year of sports science. So yeah, when I'm not training, I'm studying, and when I'm not studying, I'm training.
Interesting indeed. If you have just joined us, we're wrapping up a conversation with the EFC flyweight champion Willie White Lion van Rooyen, who defended his flyweight title on Thursday in Johannesburg against Moldovan challenger Anatoly Gafin, just 10 days before Du Plessis puts his middleweight belt on the line against Sweden's Khamzat Chimaev. Willie, thank you so much for talking to us. Before I let you go, August is the month of women. How are you celebrating this Women's Month? And special message to the women out there?
Oh yeah, no, we are definitely celebrating. We are spending a lot of time with the ladies of our families, and yeah, treating them a bit and everything. So yeah, and to all the ladies out there, happy Women's Month, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the month.
Willie White Lion van Rooyen, EFC flyweight champion. Thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. All the best moving forward.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
14:19 Central African Time. If you're a fan of football based in Zimbabwe or even anywhere in the world, you will be interested to know that action will continue on Friday, the 15th of August at 1500. A match between Scotland and Kariba. Green Fuel will take on Herantals on Saturday, the 16th of August at 3 p.m. Central African Time. MWOS up against Simba Bora, the reigning champions, the same day at 3 p.m. Central African Time. Then Ngezi will take on Pikita Minerals also on Saturday the 16th of August at 3 p.m. Central African Time. Action continues between Chicken Inn and Manika Diamonds at 3 p.m. Central African Time. Then on Sunday it's Highlanders up against Tel1 at 3 p.m. Central African Time. Also on the same day is Caps United up against Yada, and Triangle United will take on FC Platinum, while Kwekwe United will take on Dynamos. And we will continue to update you on different fixtures across Africa and the globe. This is Africa at Play. We take a short break. We'll be back shortly.
The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Young couples or young people that are getting married, we often hear of divorces, that they're getting divorced, and it's quite worrying because when we attend these weddings, we want to see these people flourish and celebrate 30-year anniversaries. What do you think is the main challenge that is facing newlyweds?
We say that tell me how you were raised and I'll tell you how you love. So when we see people getting married, that's not where the relationship actually starts. The relationship starts with how you were raised, what you were familiar with, because we are attracted to what we are familiar with. If you don't have a background where love was prominent, where love was authentic, it's going to be very difficult for you to manufacture that in later life. So our upbringing has something to do with it.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
14:22 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. The Premier League action also kicks off this coming weekend. A match between Liverpool and AFC Bournemouth that opens the curtain of the 2025-2026 season, and that match is at 2100 Central African Time. Aston Villa up against Newcastle United on Saturday the 16th of August at 13:30, and Brighton and Hove Albion will take on Fulham FC on Saturday the 16th at 4 p.m. Central African Time. Another match taking place at 4 p.m. is Sunderland and West Ham United. Tottenham Hotspur will take on Burnley on Saturday the 16th of August at 4 p.m. Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Manchester City, the Citizens, on Saturday at 18:30 Central African Time. Chelsea the Blues will be up against Crystal Palace on Sunday the 17th of August at 3 p.m. Central African Time, while Nottingham Forest welcome Brentford on Sunday the 17th of August at 3 p.m. And on the same day at 17:30 it will be Manchester United up against Arsenal, the Gunners of London, and Leeds United will be up against Everton on Monday the 18th of August. We will continue to update you on different fixtures taking place in different parts of the world. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We now welcome to the show Amanda Mad Dog Lino, a two-time champion at bantamweight and flyweight extreme fighting EFC champion. She was active for a while and made a great comeback to win the flyweight battle. First female in EFC to feature on the main card, defeated heavily Total International Kwayile on her EFC debut, and has been competing in MMA, which is mixed martial arts, since 2012. Won the 2014 featherweight world champs in Las Vegas. Mad Dog, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Hello, Amanda. Amanda Mad Dog Lino, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, finally I can hear you. Good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, happy Women's Month.
Thank you, and happy Women's Month to the rest of the women out there.
Thank you so much. How have you been celebrating the special month of women?
Well, we've just been celebrating by encouraging young athletes and women to come into the gym and train and just learn to empower themselves. So that's what we've been driving this month at the gym.
Interesting. And what's the latest in your camp? When last did you have a fight?
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while ago, but it actually hasn't been a while ago since I competed at the UFC 123. Just been stepping in to the gym, encouraging the next generation of athletes to obviously chase their dreams and do well. We've just come back from Abu Dhabi where two of my own students competed at the IMMAF World Championships. So I've been really, really busy just encouraging other MMA athletes and coaching.
And how's it going when encouraging young women to consider MMA, mixed martial arts, as a sport they could consider, especially because it comprises of different disciplines that they can choose from?
Yeah, I think it's always been difficult as females because we've always seen MMA or mixed martial arts as a male-dominant sport. But I think with the knowledge that we obviously driving as pioneers and myself, that's what I've been working on doing, is encouraging the next generation and female athletes that the possibility for you to create a future and live your passion is very much alive. And I think you're seeing those, not just in my gym, but in a lot of gyms around South Africa and throughout the world. There's a lot of women that are no longer feeling that they need to prove themselves as, I want to say, they feel like they have to prove themselves, because we're very much showing that just as female athletes, we are as strong, as powerful, and as disciplined as the men are in the gym. And I think you are seeing that throughout the gym, not just in South Africa, like I said, but all over the world. And it's definitely been an honor for me to have pioneered the way for the next generation. And that's something that I wanted to leave as a legacy, when I started competing. So I think we're not exactly where we want to be, but we definitely are building, onto that. And I definitely see more female athletes and women, not just as an athlete, but women just embracing our sport and, learning the beautiful art of martial arts.
If you have just joined us, we are talking to Amanda Mad Dog Lino, a two-time champion at bantamweight and flyweight at EFC, that is Extreme Fighting Championship. Amanda, you also get to travel, and I always say that when one travels with open eyes, you get to learn different things from your native country. What are some of the things that you've learned from these traveling trips of yours?
Sure, yeah, it's been a privilege to be able to travel and, see the world and, go with open minds. I think one thing I've definitely learned, and people that ask me, about my traveling, I always say that the one thing I definitely always come back with is that we are really blessed as South Africans. As much as there's a big world out there, I think we're privileged to have the culture that we do in South Africa. When I come back to South Africa, I definitely love it more and more. It's a beautiful country. The people are friendly. We have some of the friendliest people in the world here. And I think we take for granted the culture that we have in South Africa and how amazing our country really is. So I'm constantly reminded of how amazing South Africa is, and not just how beautiful and different the world is out there, but it is a amazing reminder that, I'm proud to be a South African and that we do have an amazing country.
You last fought at EFC 123, and according to the calendar, we are now sitting on EFC 126, which took place this past Thursday. Coming up in September will be EFC 127. When are we likely to expect you back in the hexagon?
I know, I'm being asked that. We're currently working on what the next step is, so hopefully very soon we'll have some news. But I'm not going to give you too much information now, but you're definitely going to be seeing me compete again, and I am looking forward to showcasing some more of my skills when that does happen.
You also spoke about leaving a legacy where you're grooming the generation of the future so that when the Amanda Linos are no longer there, there's always a generation of stars that can get into the spaces of championship in the mixed martial arts space. How important is it for a champion like yourself to plow back to the young generation?
Oh, it's very important. I think, your life as an athlete and your competing years aren't as long as we all hope they're going to be. So, you almost want to be, leaving a legacy. And I think that's been something that really has been from the start of my career, because I was in a position when I first started where female athletes weren't allowed to compete professionally, and I wanted to change that and pave the way so that the next generation or the athletes that came into this didn't have to face any challenges. They could just go in it and enjoy their passion and live, their passions and embrace MMA for what it is. I think, it's an honor that we do get to pave the way and we can pass on our knowledge to the next generation. I think, as an athlete and as a coach, it's probably the most rewarding thing when I see my own students, compete and do well, and they grade and they go into world championships and win medals for their country. I think that's really, really rewarding. And I think every coach needs to look at it and go, we can only do so much. We need to make these athletes and the next generation even better. So one, that the sport can grow even more, because I think it's still evolving and it still has huge, ability to get bigger in Africa and not just internationally. But for me, it's really important that I not just leave a legacy, but create the ability for other athletes to live a professional life and make their dreams come true.
Amanda Mad Dog Lino, a two-time champion at bantamweight and flyweight EFC champion. Amanda, thank you so much. Always an awesome pleasure talking about mixed martial arts with you. All the best.
Thank you so much for having it. We appreciate it, and have a beautiful day. Hope to chat to you soon.
Thank you so much. 14:31 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our mixed martial arts conversations. We spoke to the White Lion Van Rooyen, and we just spoke to Amanda Lino. It is now time to update you about the South African Betway Premiership fixtures. If you missed out on the curtain opener yesterday, it was Chippa United, the Chile Boys, up against Masanda Wana, Mamelodi Sundowns, and they shared the spoils. That match ended by 1-1. AmaZulu managed to win by a narrow 1-0 win against the newcomers Obit College from the Northwest Province. Richards Bay FC, the Natal Rich Boys, went down by 2-1 against Marumo Gallants Bahlabane Bantwa. Polokwane City and Magesi FC couldn't pass the net as that match ended by a 0-0 draw in the Limpopo Derby. Orlando Pirates, the coach, not a happy man after they went down to Sekhukhune United by a 0-0 in their own backyard at Orlando Stadium, also known as Escotini. Siwelele came back firing, winning their opening match after returning to the Betway Premiership between Abafana Bestende by 3-1. Action continues today from 3 p.m. Central African Time. TS Galaxy will take on Durban City, and after that it will be a match between Stellenbosch FC, Stellies up against Amakosi. They say Ikosi Alipelumoya. Kaizer Chiefs at 17:30 Central African Time. And action will continue midweek on Tuesday, the 12th of August, where Marumo Gallants will take on Orlando Pirates at 19:30 Central African Time. Obit College will have their second match against the on-form Siwelele Samasokolara at 19:30 Central African Time. Masanda Wana will take on Usutu in their own backyard, and that match is at 19:30 Central African Time. We will continue to update you on all things different sporting codes taking place across Africa and globally. This is Africa at Play.
Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
Tell me when to say love me, Ginger. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. I need your loving, so fresh, so clean. Love me in and out, unfailingly, and I'll be down now. Anytime you call me, I'll be down. I'll be down, because I love and I love and I love and I love you only. Because I need and I need and I need and I need you more. Yeah, you know I run and I run and I run and I run. Fly, we can fly in the sky in the night. Hold me in your arms and your love and your light. I'm on your wave right now. Hey, I'm on your wave right now. unconditional, got me living softly. Yeah, yeah. Love me judge, love me tender. You know your love turn me up like Nepa. Anything you want and I'ma do whatever. Because I love and I love and I love and I love you only. Yeah, yeah. Because I need and I need and I need and I need you more. Yeah, you know I run and I run and I run and I run. Fly in the sky in the night. Hold me in your arms and your love and your life. I'm on your wave right now. I'm on your wave right now. Yeah. I'm on your vibe now. You got me on your side now. Yeah, I'm on your wave right now. Whoa, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. Said love me judge, love me tender. Love me judge, love me tender. Said love me judge, love me tender. Love me judge, love me tender. You my sugar, my honey, my tender lover. You my sugar, my honey, my tender lover. Yeah, you are my sugar, my honey, my tender lover. My sugar, my honey, my tender lover. Why would you just open your mouth and say something?
Actually, terrified.
Yeah. Abadance, abudi, 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 abudi,
You like what we do on Channel Africa? Then follow us on our socials. Channel Africa 1 on all social pages. And get the African perspective.
I'm on my way to you. The time is on the loose. I will always fight for truth. If I had the chance to choose. Yeah, we do. Like every other spiral. My weakness is love. I don't do it for the medals. Cause no man without us. Peace stands for the people. So I'll be on my way. Whenever you think you need to. 1, 2, 3. I'll be. Ladies, I'll be.
Awesome sounds of music. It is the African touch. We played you Love Me JJ by Thames, and this one is called The One Call, featuring Omalay and Tyler, and the main artist is Spinal. Thank you so much for choosing Africa at Play.
AUSISA, the Association of Water and Sanitation Institution of South Africa, is a platform uniting Africa's water professionals. This November, Africa leads the conversation on water and sanitation. Join global and African leaders at the AUSISA Africa and Global South Dialogue 2025. from the 9th till the 12th of November at the Emperor's Palace, Johannesburg. From policy innovation, this is where action meets collaboration for a water-secure future. Register today at ausisa-watersan-dialogue.org or follow at Ausisa on social media. Ausisa, working together for sustainable water and sanitation security in Africa. Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
14:40 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Let's introduce our topic of the day. Some of the reasons for offering physical education in primary schools are that physical education improves the general well-being of students. And we are asking, are the ministries of education and sport, as well as sport federations, working together to improve sports in Africa from school level? You can drop us your thoughts via WhatsApp or voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126. It's time for sports news. In tennis news, Anastasia Potapova could be forgiven for not looking forward to her matchup against Iga Swiatek in the second round at the Cincinnati Open. Last time they met in the fourth round at the Roland Garros last year, Potapova fell to a 6-0, 6-0 defeat. Although the Russian fared better in Saturday's rematch, it was another straightforward win for third seed Swiatek, who prevailed 6-1, 6-4. The six-time Grand Slam champion, who most recently suffered a surprise defeat in the fourth round of the Canadian Open, delivered a powerful serving performance and saved all the 5 break points she faced, including 3 as she served the match. The Wimbledon champion will next face number 25 seed Marta Kostyk in the third round. Swiatek has yet to drop a set, Kostyk in 4 previous meetings. In swimming news, Great Britain won a tug-of-war gold at the World Games in Chengdu, China yesterday. Team GB defeated Switzerland 3-0 in the men's outdoor 640 kg finals in one of the more unusual events at the World Games, which feature sports and events not the Olympic program. In the life-saving men's 4x50 medley relay, France won gold in a new world record of 1:25.62. The French foursome broke the previous mark of 1 hour 26.19 seconds set by Germany at the 2018 Life-Saving World Championships in Adelaide, Australia. In football news, the Zambia national soccer team will today on Sunday face Angola in their second Group A match of the Total Energies CAF Africans Championship CHAN 2024. Zambia will take on Angola at the famous Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi, Kenya, and kickoff has been slated for 1800 Central African time. The Chipolo Polo boys will seek to bounce back from a 2-0 bashing they suffered at the hands of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, while the Angolans will be hoping to register their first win of the tournament after drawing their first match and losing their second match. The Avram Grant Tuchard boys risk being out of the CHAN tournament if they lose against Angola. The Chipolo Polo boys have no choice but to go for maximum points in today's match. Zambian coach Avram Grant blamed Zambia's loss to the Democratic Republic of Congo to lack of proper preparations. Still in football news, Orlando Pirates head coach Abdeslam Ouaddou has lamented how they started their campaign in the Betway Premiership this season as they went down 1-0 to Sekhukhune United at home at Orlando Stadium last night. Pirates had a lion's share of the ball possession, but it didn't translate into goals against a resolute Sekhukhune defense. The visitors' goal came from midfielder Sipesi Tlemkize in a goal-mouth scramble as Pirates failed to clear the lines. Ouaddou says they were missing some elements in the game as compared to their 2-0 win over Polokwane City in the MTN 8 last week.
Unfortunately, we didn't start like we wanted in terms of the intensity that we wanted to put in that game. I think that we started very slowly that game, and step by step we have waited until that we conceded the goal, and now we have seen a different Orlando Pirates, a different rhythm. We run behind the score, trying to equalize. I think we have seen some interesting things. Even we lost that game. We don't have to throw away some interesting things. But of course, the bad point is we start bad this opening of the PSL. It's not the way that we wanted to start the league. I think there is a big difference between the intensity that we put in the MTN game than the first half.
Despite their dominance in this game, Pirates only had 3 shots on target, and Uadu says the lack of efficiency in the third final round proved to be their undoing. But he also shared some encouraging words for his boys that they will have to quickly bounce back from this defeat when they meet his former team, Marumo Gallants, in Bloemfontein on Tuesday evening.
The content was very interesting, but a lot of chances. But the true in football, you have to be efficient in the box. If you are not efficient in the box, of course, the opponent can at any time have chances and to punish you. It's what he did today. It's quite the same image as the previous game last season. So yeah, what I said to the boys, it's a lot of disappointment, but the chance that we have in football, it's to have the opportunity to play quicker and to go to definitely try to win next game. Yeah, but the league is still long, many games. We start bad, but definitely we'll give some rest, and quickly we have to come back to the business.
Missing from Pirates' matchday squads in the first 2 matches of the season has been their top goal scorer from last season, Tsegofatso Mabasa. Uadu confirmed that there's nothing wrong with his fitness levels, but he's just been giving other players a chance.
No, like I told you in the previous conference, Mabasa is available. Some choice, of course, some choice that we did, but is ready, and when we will call him, I think he will be able to perform and to give us the best of him. Of course, you can maybe ask some question because the strikers that we put, maybe they didn't score. So of course I understand your question. So I told you we have a lot of players this season, and everybody will get his chance at the right moment. It's this.
After having watched defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns also dropped points earlier on the day as they were held to a 1-0 draw by Chippa United in Gqeberha, Pirates failed to capitalize at home. Uadu says it's proof that this season will be tough, with margins getting narrower between the teams in the big league.
This result means that every year the PSL getting better and better and more tough. And the teams try to make a good preparation as well, good organization. I think my lecture and my reading of that result means that every teams now, there is not any more small teams.
Lastly, in football, Manchester City and pre-season campaign with a win at sister club Palermo, as Guardiola's side had no difficulty against the Sicilians, who will make their away debut at the Coppa Italia against Cremonese next Saturday. Palermo against Manchester City lived up to expectations, a great crowd with almost 35,000 spectators present, goals and spectacle on the pitch from the English, and a good test for Pippo Ingazi's lineup, despite the technical difference. In the end, Pep Guardiola's team won 3-0 in the family friendly. Both clubs are part of the City football group, valid for the first Anglo-Palermitian trophy, a trophy to celebrate the 125-year history of Rosanero club. In boxing news, two boxers in Japan have died from brain injuries they have incurred in separate bouts during the same event in Tokyo, officials said. Super featherweight Shinshitogi Kotari and lightweight Himurasa Urakawa, both 28, fought on the same card in Tokyo's Korakuen Hall on August the 2nd. Both were later rushed to hospital, but they had brain surgery. Kotari, who had battled a draw after 12 rounds against fellow Japanese fighter Yamato Hata, lost consciousness soon after and passed away at 10:59 p.m. on August the 8th. His empty boxing gym said on its website on Saturday. Urakawa was stopped in the 8th and final round against Yoji Saito and tragically succumbed to injuries sustained during his fight, the World Boxing Organization WBO said in an Instagram post on today. 14:50 Central African Time. We take a short break. We'll be back with all things Africa at Play. Asteleli Sashai.
Africa in Song with Chanduko Ligege.
So when you think of African music, you think of Kwasa Kwasa, high life music from West Africa, Afrobeat from West Africa, of gospel music or faith music or spiritual music. But when we think of reggae music, we go to the Caribbean, and if it's Africa, we only think about Lucky Dube. Well, I'm here to introduce you to some reggae music from Africa. Salif Keita with Dakan Fair from Mali, and I must say this one was a real shock for me because I never had imagined Salif Keita on a reggae beat, but listening to him, it just proved to me how versatile he is as an artist, because you'd be expecting him to be on that vibe of West Africa, of ballads, but he really proved that he is very versatile, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Africa in Song with Chanduko Ligege. Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective.
14:52 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We now welcome to Africa at Play a coach and a teenager in sport. Our teenager in sport is Ichuta Akok from Uganda in East Africa, and Coach John Omondi, who is the head coach at St. Cyprian High School and also under 16 and under 18 Uganda Junior Gazelles national team head coach. We'll start welcoming the coach as they are both in camp as part of the 106 sprinters to represent the country at this year's Federation of East African Secondary Schools Sports Association FISA. The FISA Games scheduled to take place in Kakamega, Kenya. The final traveling team will be selected after camp trials with the departure scheduled for August the 12th. Let's now welcome to Africa at Play the coach, that is John Omondi. Coach, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you already in camp for the exciting edition of the Federation of East African Secondary Schools Sports Association FISA Games?
Yes, we are ready and we're in high gears. We've been having a camp for the past 2 weeks and a half, and I think we are good to go.
Talking about good to go, any particular sporting code? Is it different sporting codes?
No, it's the same. It's the same. I think everything is the same. We're just getting focused, but everything is the same.
Okay, and according to the fixtures, when are you expected to be on the battlefield?
The traveling dates, 12th, I think by 12th we'll be leaving the country. But the fixtures start on 13th going forward. So we're excited and looking forward to it.
Yeah, Coach, 106 sprinters. It's quite a big number from Uganda. Talk to us about how important school sport is in East Africa, because these games are never missed and the attendance is always great.
Well, the competition always attracts so many, around 4 to 5 countries, and the number of schools coming is so overwhelming. So when you look at it, every country always has something to offer. So as Uganda, we have 4 teams that are going to participate, and we were second place going through the finals. So we know the competition is going to be tough. Uganda has taken this championship for like 4 decades. So I think Kenya is looking to it, Rwanda is looking to it, but I think Uganda always has an edge. And looking at all odds, I think we've prepared good enough, and we're focused, ready for the championship. We are in a very tough pool, but I think that's a pool that has some of the best teams. We have two champions to be among the best in that championship.
14:55 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, we are talking to a coach from Uganda, Coach John Omondi, who is the head coach at St. Cyprian High School and also doubles up as the under-16 and under-18 Uganda Junior Gazelles national team head coach. Coach, talk to us about one of the athletes, Ichut Akok, that we are still going to have a conversation with. What kind of an athlete is Ichut? Coach, are you still there? Hello, Coach. It looks like we're having network challenges with the line from East Africa. Coach John Omondi. Coach, are you still there? We're battling with that line from Coach John Omondi, who is the head coach at St. Cyprian High School and also doubles up as the under-16 and under-18 Uganda Junior Gazelles national team head coach. It is a big occasion. That is the Federation of East Africa Secondary School Sports Association FISA Games scheduled to take place in Kakamega, Kenya. And we will also be talking to one of the athletes from East Africa in Uganda, Ichut Akoko, who is our teenager in sport. 14:57 Central African Time. Let's recap the first hour of Africa at Play. We got to hear from the Orlando Pirates coach, who is not so impressed with their start where they went down to Sekhukhune United by 1-0. And we spoke to two EFC champions, that is White Lion Van Rooyen together with Amanda Mad Dog Lino. And these are the passionate mixed martial arts artists or mixed martial arts athletes, if you like, and they are preparing for different events that are still coming up. Van Rooyen was part of EFC 126 that took place on Thursday, and Mad Dog participated on EFC 123, which was a few months ago, and she's gearing up for future events. And now we've been talking to Coach John Omondi from East Africa in Uganda. I've been told the coach is back. Welcome back, Coach. Hello, Coach. There's still a challenge with that line from Coach John Omondi. Oh, the coach is finally back. Yeah, Coach, I wanted to find out from you.
I can hear you very well.
Hello, Coach. Yeah, we're experiencing a bit of a challenge with this line from East Africa. Apologies for that bad line, but it looks like the coach is back on the line. Coach, are you back? If you're back, I wanted to find out from you, what kind of an athlete is Ichut Akok?
Well, he's an all-round athlete. He plays basketball and a little bit of handball, but he's major in basketball. He's a point guard. He's a 1 and 2, so he's an all-round athlete. He can fit in, control the game very well. So we are lucky to have him. I think the athleticism that he has is something to talk about. I think it's one of the things that boosts us. He's seen us through so many tough games, and we're looking forward to this challenge that we're going to have in Kenya.
Coach John Omondi, very confident that Uganda will prevail in their neighboring country, Kenya, during the Federation of East African Secondary Schools Sports Association FISA Games that are slated to take place in Kakamega, Kenya. And the team is expected to travel after the trials, with the departure scheduled for August the 12th. Coach, please do stay on the line. We will touch base with you in no time as we're handing over to the next hour hour. Thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play. We will be talking to an athlete from East Africa who is our teenager in sport. As you've heard, Coach Omondi speaking well of Ichud Agog, who plays as a point guard, but also mentioned that he is an overall player, and it will be exciting to find out from the player himself as the time is clicking rapidly towards the beginning of the East African Secondary School Sports Games. All this will be happening in the next hour. This is Africa at Play. Astelil Siashaya.
Je, una jambo lolote akilini mwako? Je, una shauku kuhusu masuala muhimu? Na je, una maoni ambayo unataka yasikike? Kweli, hili jukwaa ni la kwako. Piga simu au tuandikie kwenda WhatsApp namba alama ya kujumulisha 2760552594 na tutakupigia simu.
Mtangazaji wa habari zetu za Afrika Kusini mjini Johannesburg.
Hivyo unaweza kuwa mshirika kwenye matangazo yetu. Sio mazungumzo tu, ni fursa yako ya kuchangia maoni yako na kushirikiana na jumuiya ya wasikilizaji wanaotamani mtazamo wako. Tufuate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Tembelea tovuti yetu www.channelafrica.co.za na uwe tayari kushiriki na kuchangia maoni yako kwenye Channel Africa. Channel Africa, mtazamo wa Kiafrika.
What are the teenagers up to if they are not in class? Let's get in touch with the teenager in sport.
15:01 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are officially into the second out of 3 hours of Africa at Play, and we will be talking to our teenager in sport, Ichud Agog from Uganda. We've been talking to Coach John Omondi. Let's just wrap up with the coach as we welcome Ichud to the conversation. Coach, talk to us about the talent in East Africa. What happens to this exciting talent as they grow into different levels, heading into tertiary education, and some of them perhaps they don't even have the funds to consider tertiary education? But what happens to the sporting talent?
Well, as you know, East Africa gives some of the best talent in Africa in general. We've had schools offering scholarships, and St. Cyprian High School is one of them. Currently, they are defending champions within their regions. They have had it for the second time running. And at the national levels, they are runners-up. And I think the platform that you got a big one. I think a platform, the biggest league in East Africa. So the platform that Uganda offers is such a big one. And so many kids all over Africa are enjoying it. We have players coming from Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, South Sudan. So when that combination is put together, it brings one of the best combinations to compete generally. So I would say we are very blessed, we are very lucky. Even as the national team, we're so lucky to have one of the biggest pool of talent. And as you know, we've competed in several competitive sports at Afrobasket level. So I think the platform is so big and the pool is so wide. And Uganda is still the best when it comes to talent identification.
That's the voice of head coach at St. Cyprian High School. That is Coach John Omondi, who is also the under-16 and under-18 Uganda Junior Gazelles national team head coach. Coach, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. We are ready to also find out from Ichud Agog, our teenager in sport from Uganda. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Let's now welcome our teenager in sport, Ichud Agog. Ichud, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play. Hello, Ichud.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Yes, hello?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
No, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining us. The coach speaks very highly about your skill and technique in basketball, pointing out that you play as a point guard, but you're also an overall player. When did you start to join in basketball?
Actually, thank you. I joined basketball in 2023. I only have like 2 years, but yeah, 2 years in basketball. So.
What do you like so much about basketball?
It is about passion. Like, yeah, I just fall in love with the game of basketball, and I just had to choose one of my dreams, and I had to pursue it also with my studies together. So that's it.
And talking about your studies, Ichut, what are you studying at the moment?
I'm in senior 3, actually, yeah. I'm in senior 3.
Are you ready for the upcoming edition of the games that will be taking place at Kakamega in Kenya, the FISA Games?
Yeah, had a lot from the coach. Yeah, we're ready, and we really been preparing so hard with the team. It is about the teamwork. So all the boys are ready, and we are ready.
That's the voice of our teenager in sport, Ichut Akoko, who is a basketball player who started to join in basketball in 2023. 2 years experience, but his coach John Omondi, speaks highly of him, saying that he is a point guard, he plays in point guard and is an overall basketball player. Ichut, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. All the best in Kakamega, Kenya.
Thank you so much. Good day.
Yeah, the team from Uganda will be traveling on the 12th of August. Uganda will be represented by 1,500 athletes at the FISA Games, with 106 competing in athletics and the rest drawn from other disciplines, including basketball, 3x3, netball, handball, rugby, and volleyball, among others. This is Africa at Play, as Delil Shaya will be back after this short break.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday 23rd of July for Hard Talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC.
15:08 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are in South Africa. Alternatively, you can reach us from any corner of the world on channelafrica.co.za, also available on SABC+. The SABC is pleased to announce the launch of the new self-registration platform. Vendors wishing to do business with the SABC can self-register on our internally developed platform. Vendors are able to access this platform on our website www.sabc.co.za/SABC under e-tenders or self-register at etender.sabc.co.za and follow the prompts. Visit SABC social media pages for more details.
180 minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa from an African perspective.
Be in love so passionately. This has no guarantee.
what you bring. Something's not right with me. Something's not right with me. I want to be at peace. So now you need to leave. Hey, you need to leave.
Minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa from an African perspective.
'Cause c'est qu'elle doit, toi, maman.
15:16 Central African Time. It is a good African sound, and it's interesting because the song is titled Africa, Habib Koite and Pamada. Before that, we played you Yekelela by Munewa. We now welcome to Africa at Play our correspondent based in East Africa in Nairobi, Kenya, Francis Mutegi. Mutegi, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon to you, Neto, and to the rest of the African continent, and thank you for the chance again to contribute to the show.
Thank you so much for joining us. There's a lot happening in East Africa. It shows that the region is very much alive. Currently is the Chan tournament that is currently ongoing, and the Federation of East African Secondary Sports Association, FISA Games, also coming up in Kakamega, Kenya. So it goes to show that the region is undoubtedly alive. Let's start with the Chan tournament. Big ups to Taifa Stars. 3 back-to-back victories, beating Burkina Faso 2-0 in the curtain opener, and also beating Mauritania by a narrow 1-0 win, and then Madagascar last night by 2-1. But we've also seen Harambee Stars of Kenya under the leadership of South Africa's Benny McCarthy winning their opening match against DR Congo, a side that has won this tournament on 2 occasions, and also drawing that match against Angola. And the match is currently underway against the Atlas Lions of Morocco.
Absolutely. It is an incredible situation for the last, let me say, 2 weeks or so to go. Things have been incredibly impressive, and let me be very honest with you. I think there is too much in the plate for the East African region to consume at the moment, and in that context, it is going to be a very impressive situation to deal with in terms of entertainment, in terms of sports. And so, as you said, the Chan tournament is underway as we speak. As we speak to you, at this moment, Kenya is playing Morocco. It is the 54th minute of the match. Kenya is playing against a very, let me say, a formidable outfit. 2-time champions Morocco, having beaten 2-time champions DR Congo in the first match. Then you get to believe that they have the pedigree and believe that they can also disappoint another 2-time champion, that is Morocco. And I think Kenya is leading Morocco by 1-0 with just about 36 minutes to go. Kenya's got a free kick as we speak, waiting to take a free kick from the edge of the box, and the Moroccans have some work to do, trying to defend themselves. And this is going to be a very dire situation for Kenya as well, because for the second match in consecution, they have received a yellow card, red card. They received a red card in the first match in the name of Nabwire, and now it has been another. This time, it has been very painful because it went to Erambo, one of the key players in the midfield for Kenya, and so Kenya is playing with 9 outfield players, of course, and it is going to be a very challenging scenario to deal with when it comes to the conclusion of this match. In the previous match against Angola, they managed to hang on to get a draw 1-1 and get a point despite having lost one of their players in the second quarter of the first half. And so we wait and see how things turn out in this particular match that is underway. This is between Kenya and Morocco, and as we speak, the referee is monitoring the case where one of Kenya's wingers by the name Mushiri has just been fouled at the edge of the box, and it is now being consulted with the VAR to confirm whether he was inside or outside the box, or whether indeed he was fouled or was attacked in a manner to allow him to go down, or was it a simulation? And so we wait and see what the VAR decision will be, as well as the infield referee who has gone to the screen, and so he comes to make a decision. But as you said, the Taifa Stars are already guaranteed of the quarterfinals because they have gathered the total and, so to say, the demanded maximum points, which is 9, having won 3 consecutive matches. And as now things stand, it is a wait for the quarterfinal places. Of course, this may be a tricky scenario for the coach in Taifa Stars team, because he's got to make a decision as to whether he will use the same players or give them a break, and bring new players and give the very effective ones a break ahead of the quarterfinals, or does he sustain the same ones to keep the momentum and maintain their confidence? And so as things are now, they are guaranteed of that quarter-final place, despite the fact that, of course, they are yet to play all their group matches. And so we wait and see. Well, Kenya is playing their third quarter-final match as we speak against Morocco, as I mentioned, and that free kick has been awarded outside the box. And so Kenya will be looking to see if they can capitalize on that to get their second goal. And in this context, a very, very tricky scenario for Morocco. Now, we are also dealing with a situation where the other host nation, that is Uganda Cranes, have also had a very mixed bag of situations, because in the first particular match, they were beaten very badly indeed by Algeria, 3-0 on the opening day. But when they played their next match, they produced some scintillating performance to hammer Guinea 3-0, and for that reason, they are now confidently hanging on some real good belief that they can change the situation here and return to some possible chances of reaching the quarterfinals, because they've got the 3 points now. As much as they lost the first match, they've got a chance of retrieving this situation for the better in their favor, which is now try as much as possible not to lose another match, and pray, of course, the other opponents do as well, them favor, because the other teams also have got something to fight for. This is the group that has South Africa is the group that has the likes of Algeria, and you can imagine it is not such an easy situation we're dealing with here. So we wait and see what becomes of that group. But as things stand, the host nations are enjoying this situation as things stand, despite that very early loss for Uganda Cranes, who now made some good recovery with 3 scintillating goals to Ghana, 3 points, 3 goals, and make things better for their situation. So we wait and see what becomes of that. Now, the other thing is that it has been a very, very impressive hosting right for the 3 East African countries. The facilities have been impressive. The visiting nations are very happy with how things have been done. They are happy with the accommodation, very happy with the playing grounds, the facilities available. Safety has been paramount. I mean, there hasn't been a single incident. And I can also appreciate the officiating has been impeccable. Let me be very honest with you. The officiating has been impeccable. The use of the VAR has been instrumental in making some critical decisions that have been very, very paramount in terms of getting things done rightly and fairly. As well, the turnout of crowd has been immense. Virtually every game has had some tangible number of fans to cheer them. We've got so many foreigners, of course, from almost every country that is participating, and so there's no country that has lacked support, and for that reason, they have been very, very impressive indeed, so to say. And so we can say so far, so good, despite the fact that we are still in the early stages, that is in the group stages, before we can get to the first Neto.
That is our East African correspondent, Francis F. Muteki, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, and we're talking all things East African sport. Thank you so much for updating us with the Chen tournament, Muteki. Let's talk about the exciting level of participation in sport, where it is grassroots level for your primary schools, your secondary schools, and I'm referring to the Federation of East African Secondary School Sports Association, FISA Games, scheduled to take place in Kakamega, Kenya. What's the latest?
what I can tell you is that actually the Kenyan students just returned from the first ever World Youth Games that were held for the first time, and the event used mostly secondary school-going students, and so it is more like World Secondary School Games, but they were referred to Youth Games, and Kenya is one of the teams that participated. Kenya garnered a maximum of 11 medals, which included 3 gold medals, and so they returned home this past week with some rapturous welcoming dances and impressions to the officials from the Ministry of Sports. And as I can attest, Kenya, and for that reason, the East African region has been very, very consistent with the secondary school games. And so it is not going to be a surprise that the Kenya and Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Uganda, of course, and South Sudan, and as well as Somalia, who have struggled at times to participate because of various situations in their country, but they are also part of this East African region, and for that reason do come in to do some participation on occasions. But as things stand, the games are being well prepared. It is going to be very, very entertaining because this very region hosted the Kenyan edition of the games, and so Kenya will be sending the same team that was prepared from the country's elimination games that were held in the same county of Kakamega. Kakamega's some of the very good grounds. In one of the places is the Kakamega sports ground, and then we've got Mumia sports ground, and so we believe that we've got some degree to host such international stature of event in that particular region, and the whole secondary school games participants from the rest of the East African countries will be going to that place. As you can imagine, Nairobi, and for that reason, its surrounding counties, Machakos, Kiambu, and so on, are very, very much busy with the CHAN hosting rights, and in terms of literally everything, they are doing magnificently well to keep the international visitors for the teams that are participating in the CHAN event comfortable, happy, and well satisfied, and of course quality. And so now it is up to Kakamega, and for that reason, the western region of Kenya to host the students who are arriving from other East African countries. And the other thing I would want to notify you is that Kenya has been given the right to host the next youth championship games, which is more like the secondary school games for the third edition that will be played in 2019. So Kenya, 2029. So Kenya will be hosting the third edition of those games that started this year, and having gotten 11 medals, I'm sure they will be very keen to impress more this time, playing at home with a chance of spending less resources to send more players in virtually every particular sport that will be in those events. And so we wait because as we speak now, teams are preparing to come, and usually the secondary school games happen during the schooling holidays so as to allow students to participate while at the same time being on holiday, and they are able to return to their schools for the usual school term calendar. And so this month of August is often the break time alongside April and December. And so once this month is over, then the school games from the entire East African region will take off through this holiday period. The players, the participants can get a chance to go and take a rest at least for a week before they go back to school for the final term of the year 2025 for the across East Africa region metro.
Francis FM Mutegi, our East African correspondent based in Nairobi, Kenya. So Mutegi, what's the latest in the Billie Jean King Tennis Tournament?
Well, the tournament has been taking place in Windhoek, Namibia, and Kenya is one of the countries that have been taking part alongside, of course, the likes of big names like Morocco. Morocco currently are leading the table, having played 3 matches, and Kenya beat Namibia, Kenya beat Tunisia. Kenya initially also beaten Morocco in the singles, but when it came to doubles, I think that is where the Moroccans thrived more. So they currently lead Kenya 3-2 in terms of points, and so the team that wins, or the team that performs well in this particular event, has a chance to go to Group 2, because African teams that are participating in that event in Windhoek now are the teams that are in what we call Group 3. Group 3, majority of these African teams, which include, of course, Kenya, Namibia, Tunisia, Morocco, and Botswana as well, they quite often involve players who are ranked in the bad layer, and so we've got the opportunity now to qualify to the second layer, which is the layer that can help you play or participate in the European events as well. And so it is one of those events that plays a great role in molding young players. The Kenyan team was made of only 7 players, actually. They are led by the internationally renowned Okutoye. She has been very, very instrumental. Angela Okutoye actually just played in Europe just the other day, and she managed to produce some of the best performances in the university games that were being played, tennis world championship for university students from across the globe. She's schooling in the United States, and she went to Europe to participate and finished very well with a bronze medal. And so, and in one of the singles, actually, she managed to get a silver. And so she's captaining the Kenyan team of 7 players who are currently in Namibia. And as things stand, Kenya is trailing Morocco. I think today was the last day. We wait and see what becomes of it. And the teams that will be producing good results in this have a chance of entering Group 3 of the Game Cup that is very much international, Neto.
15:34 Central African Time. Francis Femutegi. Semutegi, thank you so much for fueling us up with the latest in East African and African sports in general.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Just an update for the match. It is 70 minutes now. Kenya leading Morocco by 1-0. Kenya went down 1 player because of a red card towards the end of the first half, and the match continues, and so we wait and see what becomes of the remaining 20 minutes, Neto.
It's good for Harambee Stars. It will be 2 matches out of the possible 3 where they've also drawn against Angola by a goal apiece. And we say big ups. But also, whenever there are incentives that comes from either the Football Association or the government, you always witness a different energy on the field of play. For some reason, money is the best motivator. But we appreciate the effort of all these players from different parts of the African continent. 19 teams gathered in East Africa. Thank you so much for the update, Samutegi. 70 minutes of football has been played. Harambee Stars leading Morocco, the Atlas Lions, by 1-0. Harambee Stars 1 man down due to a red card. And let's hope that every player can double in their position and play as if they are playing for the other player. In that way, they will have 18 players on the field of play. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely.
15:35 Central African Time. We now head to Lusaka, Zambia, where our correspondent Namuchana is standing by to introduce the topic of the day, and we urge you to send your thoughts via WhatsApp or voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126, where we're talking about the importance of playing sport from grassroots level, from primary school level, going into different levels of school sport. And we're asking, are the sport ministries and ministries of education together with the federations working together to make certain that school sport is supported from a grassroots level? Let's find out from Namuchana.
Some of the reasons for offering physical education in primary schools are that physical education improves the general well-being of students. We are asking our ministries of education and ministries of sport, as well as sports federations, working together to improve sports in Africa from school level. This is our topic today, and I have with me Mr. Richard Ngoma, General Secretary, Zambia Netball. Mr. Ngoma, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. First things first, Mr. Ngoma, in the olden days, the Ministry of Education here in Zambia was the one that was running sports, but nowadays sports has been taken to the Ministry of Sports, Youth and the Art. They're the ones in charge of running sports activities in this country. Do you think, Mr. Ngoma, that ministries of education and sports, as well as sports federations, are working together to improve sports on the African continent from the school level?
Well, in the Zambian aspect, the Ministry of Education is separated from Ministry of Sport. Previously, this used to be one ministry and it was easy to do in the same ministry. Now, with the policy that is different from the previous system, we have a situation where athletics is probably practiced in the first term of a school term. So the second term you have ball games. In the third term, there are no sports activities. It's difficult. So what?
Mr. Ngoma, let's talk about schools that are found in our communities. What are you doing as Netball Zambia to improve sports in these communities?
What Zambia, for argument's sake, has done is to go into the communities and establish what is commonly referred to as hub sites. We know that these communities have schools within them, but it's best that we have a community team competing within the community, moving them away from the schools, because at the end of it all, if we involve schools, we have to start paying allowances to school teachers and so forth, which is not practical. If we are looking at an organization like Netball that is looking at formulating 10, 12 hub sites within a community. So competition is run within that community, which is less expensive. There are lesser costs to pay and managing these competitions within the hub site.
Mr. Ngoma, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. That was Mr. Richard Ngoma, General Secretary, Zambia Netball Association, talking to us on our topic today. I have also with me Tesfa Shinkombwe, who is the General Secretary, Zambia Po Union. Tesfa, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. Tesfa, how should ministries of education, sports and sports federations collaborate in order to develop sports on the African continent?
Deliberately, we should have that connection between Ministry of Education and national federations also. National federations, of course, through the sports ministries. What sometimes we do see is a connection between the sports ministry and the education ministry or Ministry of Education. Yeah, that is undeniable. Of course, with relation to physical education in schools. But I think what should be encouraged is, as much as physical education is being encouraged as a subject independent in school, what should be encouraged is the collaboration of these schools, of course, under the Ministry of Education, with the national federations under the sports ministry. What this does is that sports federations are able to encourage as well as identify young talent while in school, as well as actually encourage them, the young athletes, to continue with their education as well as sport. You know, this obviously is going to encourage the young athletes as they are continuing with their education. They can also incorporate sport in it. You know, this of course is as opposed to the version that we are seeing now, you know, especially in Zambia, where most of the athletes are only identified by national federations away from their schools. Okay, either having left schools already or having dropped out of school, you know, so that actually creates a divide between school or education and sport. So that I think has to be looked into, and we need to ensure, especially the Ministry of Sport and of course education, we need to ensure that our strategies actually involve a much more collaborative approach, because we need to encourage the learners to understand that as much as they are in school, they may also harness the talent or the talent in various sporting activities and be able to participate at the highest level in sport while maintaining their focus on education as well. So I think much more collaborative effort is required in order for us to keep our our athletes well educated.
Tesfa, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. We also got the views of Wezi Mazunda, sports analyst.
I think there are schools do have physical education. Here in Zambia, physical education is there in schools. Some like it, some don't. But it's a very good wing of the education system because now I think sport has been marketed very well. The only challenge though is facilities, not having proper facilities in schools, especially in government schools. You may not have the perfect facilities like the private schools may have. That the challenge may come in when it comes to that in grooming your players. But for the general well-being of students, it's very good. And you have many options as a student to further your studies on one side and the other side play football, balance your time, play sport and balance your time doing both, which is very interesting. So if you can have a situation where you're able to even sit in a classroom and learn about these things in school, it's very good. And not everybody can be able to eventually go into these sports, hard active sports. They can also turn out to be physical education teachers themselves, depending on what inspires them in schools. But what really needs to happen is to have the proper infrastructure in schools. Otherwise, we do have these departments, physical education departments, and those are the ones who are actually in charge of even ensuring that the schools have sports teachers. When there are sports games for schools, they mobilize these children, and then everything is done in an orderly manner as opposed to a haphazard manner where these kids have not gone through a school system. It's much easier to manage them, to manage the schools as well, and for competition, it's very good. So it really needs to be encouraged. But the other challenge is sports are quite limited. You'll find maybe most the sports that you'll find are football, netball, mostly. Like these are the two that will be the athletics as well. So mostly these are the games that will be there. Maybe I need to spread it across, have more sports like rugby. Which other sports is this? Volleyball. Oh yeah, we do have those in schools actually. Volleyball also is one of the sports that are in schools. Handball, cricket. Then we're talking about facilities and where to play. So you also have the issue of land. You need to have enough land to have all these sports facilities housed in the schools, so it will be easier for them when they start these games from schools. If they start playing professional, or when they go back home, play for clubs, at least the transition will be much smoother coming from the school system. This is what helped a lot of countries actually. It's good now we even have competitions like for football. I think now even just general sports, we have a tournament for school-going children, which is good because they're now beginning to get international exposure. But it's very, very important. It's an important wing of education, physical education, and must be appreciated in schools. Thank you very much.
The views of Wezi Mazunda there on our topic. Today, we were looking at something that has to do with the ministries of education and ministries of sport on the African continent. Some of the reasons for offering physical education in primary schools are that physical education improves the general well-being of students. We were asking our ministries of education and ministries of sport, as well as the sports federations working together to improve sports in Africa from school level. We had the Richard Ngoma, General Secretary, Zambia Netball Association, Tesfa Shenkombwe, who is the General Secretary, Zambia Polo Union, and the sports analyst, Wezi Mazunda for Channel Africa Sports. Namchana from Zambia.
She builds, she leads, she rises. This August, join Channel Africa in celebrating the women who shape our communities, shift narratives, and carve out a future on their own terms.
These women together ought to be able to turn it right again.
From Cape Town to Kigali, Lagos to Lusaka, African women are rewriting the script. Here's to courage, creativity, and unstoppable progress. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay logged right here.
15:45 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. Thank you to Namachana for unpacking our topic of the day, where we're talking about physical education, the importance of grassroots sports from primary school level to different levels in school sports. And he got to speak to the sports pundits about this exciting topic. We've got some voice notes. It's never too late. You can also drop us your voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126. Let's take one from Nande Jobodwana.
Good day, viewers. This is Nande Chobotwana.
The first question is to be asked is that, do we still have physical education in our schooling system? Because when I was growing up, we used to have physical education as a subject within the periods, right? Now, I stand corrected, but I think that has since changed since the early days. Now, if we do not have physical education as a subject, then how can then we say Ukoti, the ministers of sports and education and sports federation are working together at sports to facilitate sports in school level or to improve sports in school level? I highly doubt it. I don't think these education departments and federations are working together. In actual fact, I think they are working in silos. You know, everyone is trying to do their own thing. That is why you would have a community tournament, the school governing body that actually organizes their own tournaments, their own fixtures amongst school. They create their own travel sport. They play with schools from different provinces, but they organize that themselves, not necessarily the Department of Sport or the Department of Education. It's a relationship between schools where you'll have a principal from a former school who's moved to another school, and then what they will do, they will start playing against those schools through his initiative, not through the Department of Education or the Department of Sports or any sports federation. So no, I don't think they are working together at all, particularly here in South Africa, and particularly in schools in the township where physical education and sport is literally non-existent amongst the school level. It's definitely doesn't exist in the township schools. Thank you.
Interesting thoughts from Nande Jabadwana. Let's take one more voice note from Mozinduku from the Eastern Cape.
Good day, everyone. I'm Mozinduku from Eastern Cape in South Africa. I think they are trying to do so, but I think from the rural areas, I don't see this thing is working as before, because seemingly physical education is ignored by the public school. But I see this thing is happening in private school. So I think it's a real high time where Minister of Education, of Basic Education, and Minister of Sport can revive the program. In fact, not necessarily the physical education, but the extramural activities. Because the reality is, some of the learners, in public school, they are not good academically, but in terms of the physical education and also the extramural activities at their future. Because some of the learners, they do have a talent, some in sport, some in music, some in different item. But if this thing is not being present in the public school, especially in the public school, so these learners, they end up dropping out because they see nothing are good at a school. So if the Department of Education and the Department of Sport can work together to do this physical education and extramural activities, I think the dignity of the learners, and then also the happiness in terms of even not sometimes in terms of the improving the talent, but also in terms of relieving the stress, because the reality is sports, arts and culture are the tools to distress. I thank you.
Mozinduku sharing his thoughts all the way from South Africa's Eastern Cape province. Let's take one more voice note from Lutando Madlopa.
Here. I actually think that a lot of schools don't provide sports, and it's quite disappointing. And it's not even schools in Malukshi or schools in Kasi areas and underprivileged communities, even within the cities, and even in urban areas. There are schools that don't provide sports and don't see the need for sports. And you can see also in the attitude of the students. who don't actively engage in sports. I don't think much is being done about it. And I mean, I'm a parent, so this is from the standpoint of being a parent, but also just like an ordinary citizen, and watching what's happening in schools and engaging in the schools and working with the schools and working with girls in sports as well. Sports, especially in townships like Deep Sloot, sports is an offering from the community, that the community and the different people and the different organizations, come together and then form the different organizations, whether it's netball, whether it's soccer. But schools, we really, really have a big problem. Thank you.
15:51 Central African Time. Thank you to those that have shared their thoughts on our topic of the day. If you still want to drop your WhatsApp or voice note, you can do so. The number is +27 63 406 9126. We take a short break as we'll be welcoming Tony Tonero Bani all the way from Lagos, Nigeria.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. The stories, the scores, the spirit of the game. Catch Africa at Play with Neto Chemane. Saturdays from 2 to 5 p.m. on Channel Africa.
15:53 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Channel Africa from an African perspective. This is Africa at Play, and we now welcome Tony Tonero Bani from Lagos, Nigeria. So, Bani, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play. So, Bani. All right, we will reconnect with Tony Tonero Ubani. It looks like we're having a slight challenge with that line from West Africa. Tony Tonero Ubani is based in Lagos, Nigeria, and he will be talking to us on a variety of issues, including the CAF draws, the CAF Champions League, as well as the CAF Confederation Cup and the ongoing CHAN tournament. Thank you for choosing Africa at Play. Let's update you on different fixtures that are taking place in the CHAN tournament. Kenya is up against the Atlas Lions of Morocco. That match has played for 89 minutes and Kenya is still leading by a goal to nil despite being one man down due to a red card. And Zambia will be taking on Angola at 5 p.m. Central African Time. Then yesterday we witnessed Tanzania Taifa Stars up against Madagascar and Tanzania winning that match by 2-1, which means they're the only outfit as it stands that have won 3 matches back to back, and that sets them a good tone to qualify for the next round of the tournament. South Africa will be up against Guinea tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central African Time. Uganda will take on Niger tomorrow at 1900 Central African Time. Let's reconnect with Tony Tonero Ubani. So Ubani, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play. Hello, Sir Ubani. It looks like we've lost that line again to Tony Tonero Ubani, but nevertheless we'll continue to update you on different matches that are taking place across the African continent and globally. As you know, that the English Premier League will only be kicking off this coming Friday, where Liverpool will line up against AFC Bournemouth and Aston Villa will be up against Newcastle while Brighton take on Fulham. It is a long list of fixtures as Tottenham will take on Burnley on Saturday the 16th of August. Sunderland up against West Ham at 4 p.m. Central African Time. Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Manchester City at 18:30, and Chelsea the Blues will take on Crystal Palace on Sunday the 17th of August at 3 p.m. Central African Time, while Nottingham Forest will take on Brentford at 3 p.m. Central African Time. Manchester United, a big one against Arsenal, the Gunners, on Sunday the 17th of August at 17:30. There's also action that still continues in the Betway Premiership, and we will update you with those fixtures. We saw an exciting opening yesterday where Mamelodi Sundowns, the reigning champions, were held to a 1-1 draw by Chippa United, the Chile Boys, and we've witnessed Siwelele bouncing back to the Betway Premiership, beating Golden Arrows by 3-1. Orlando Pirates went down to Sekhukhune United by 1-0, and Polokwane City as well as Makesi FC played to a 0-0 draw in the Limpopo Derby. Action continues today. TS Galaxy, the Rockets, are up against Durban City. That match is on a halftime break, and still no team has made it to the back of the net. Stellenbosch FC will be up against Amakosi Kaizer Chiefs at 17:30 Central African Time. 15:57 Central African Time as we recap the second hour of Africa at Play, where we got to speak to our correspondent in East Africa, Francis Mutegi, on all things East African sport, including the Billie Jean King Tennis Tournament that is currently underway in Windhoek, Namibia. And we also got to speak to Ichud Oguno, which is our teenager in sport, who is playing as a point guard, but also plays in different positions on the basketball court, who are preparing for the East African Secondary Schools Association's FISA games that will be taking place in Kakamega, Kenya. And we were supposed to speak to Tony Tonero, but still battling with that line. But we will get him back on the line in no time. 15:58 Central African Time. Thank you for choosing Africa at Play. Do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook, the name of our station, Channel Africa. We've got Tony Tonero Ubani back on the line. So Ubani, welcome back to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, the Velvet Voice. The network just wanted to, be a hindrance, but absolutely I'm back.
Yes, welcome back, and apologies to our listeners for that line that gave us a bit of a tough time, but no network disorders formed against us shall prosper. We've got Tony Tonero Ubani back on the line. So, Ubani, let's talk about the CAF draws. We see that interesting times are back on the table for African football. Remo Stars, familiar opponents, possible Sundowns/Looms.
Yes, indeed, Neto. For some time now, it's really been a very disturbing one for Nigerian fans and, of course, Nigerian soccer, because Nigerian teams have not really been doing well at the continent. And this a very new dawn for them again. As Remo Stars that will begin the 2025-26 CAF Champions League campaign against US Zilimaju of Comoros in the preliminary round, a familiar pairing for Nigerian clubs. Zilimaju were the same opponents Enugu Rangers faced at this stage in the 2023-2024 season, with both legs played in Nigeria due to the Comoros side lacking an approved home ground. Victory for Remo Stars will set up a daunting second-round clash against continental heavyweights Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa, owned by CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe. The country's other representatives in the competition, Rivers United, will do battle with Democratic Republic of Congo champions. Should they progress into the second qualifying round, Finidi side will face Congo Football Club, and of course preliminary round fixtures will be played between September 19 to 21 and 26 to 28, and the second preliminary fixture will be played between October 17, 19 and October 2024. And in the CAF Confederation Cup, the age-old Nigerian-Ghana football rivalry will be reignited at Ashanti Kotoko host Kwara United in the first leg. Ashanti Kotoko were African champions in 1970 and in 1983,
I still remember why when Ashanti were tormenting so many Nigerian clubs. This is their 7th appearance in the CAF Confederation Cup. The Ghanaian side, which will hold the first leg, has also featured in the old CAF Winners' Cup 7 times. And Kwara United are also not newcomers on the continental stage. This will be their 3rd venture at the CAF Confederation Cup after those of 2007 and the 2022-23 season. They were quarterfinalists in the 1999 edition of the old-style CAF Cup. Abia Warriors, who will be making their maiden appearance in the competition, will do battle with Malian RC Joliba in the first preliminary round. The winner will face either Burkina Faso's USFA or Togo's AS Bokusu in the second preliminary round. The preliminary round will kick off in September. CAF also has increased the participation fee for the Confederation Cup to $100,000 per team NATO.
Tony Obani is our correspondent based in West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria, and we've officially entered into the 3rd hour of Africa at Play. But worry not, as we see that the clock is ticking rapidly towards the goodbye moment. There's always a next time. We will be back again next week, Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We spoke about the CAF draws with Tony Obani, including the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup, as we now get into the conversation of the FIBA AfroBasket 2025. As you know, that the women edition ended recently, where we've seen the Tigresses winning their 5th consecutive title. No other women's basketball outfit on the African continent has done so, and we say big ups to the green and white. So Ubani, let's talk about the Tigers final 12-man squad unveiled as they will be facing Madagascar on August the 13th.
Yes, Neto, I think it's a good one. We've seen the 12-man squad that has been unveiled. But I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure on the team, because of what the women have done. Just on the heels of winning 5 consecutive Afro basketball crown. The Tigers' final 12-man squad for this year's FIBA Afro basketball tournament has been unveiled. The final squad, was published on the team's X handle. The 12 players who made the final shortlist are Josh Okoje, Caleb Agada, Ike Wamu, Kodrich Akobondo, Ehiogu, and Talib Zona, Tan Okoye, and Mike Nuga. Others are Divine Eke, Christian Mekulu, Martin Sebano, Ugo Simon, and Emmanuel Omogbo. This year's tournament, which will hold in Angola, will begin on August 12th and end August 24th. The Tigers are in Group B with Tunisia, Madagascar, and Cameroon. The Nigerian team will begin their campaign on August 13th against Madagascar. On August 15th, they will face Tunisia before rounding off the group stage with a clash against Cameroon on August 17th. The Tigers won their first and only Afro basketball title in 2015 after defeating Angola in the final. Meanwhile, the Tigers won a record 5th consecutive Afro basketball women's title after overcoming Mali in the final. It was the team's 7th overall title on the continent, and now 4 short of Senegal. And indeed, the performances of the women are what everybody has been talking about. And of course, we all know that Mr. President, rewarded them, handsomely. So that is the pressure the men are facing, as it were. Almost all the teams, everything Nigerian has been won by women, and the men have a chance to prove that they are the ones that should be on top and not the women. Neto.
16:05 Central African Time. We are still talking to Tony Obani, our legendary correspondent based in West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria. So, Obani, Team Nigeria School Sports contingent arrived home from Algeria, finished fourth with 25 medallions. Talent galore in West Africa.
Yes, indeed. The contingent have returned home after an impressive showing at the inaugural School Sports Games in Algeria.
We've lost that line to Tony Tonero-Ubane on our last talking point as we wanted to find out about the exciting news where Team Nigeria School Sports contingent arrived home from Algeria where they finished fourth with 25 medallions, and it's good to see that there's a vibration of sports across the African continent with different events taking place. Thank you for choosing Africa at Play. Please do visit our Channel Africa website and click on programs and search for Africa at Play. At the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you can click on more to access conversations that you might have missed out on. By all means, you can listen to them when you have time to do so. Do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook, the name of our station, Channel Africa. We take a short break. We'll be back with more after this short break.
The Upside, your afternoons just got even better.
Bantu Biko Street by Simpiwe Dana. Ndi ready. Simpiwe, 20 years in song. So what emotions come up when you hear that, hey, you've been doing this for 20 years now?
It almost feels like no time has passed, eh? I just, I know obviously time has passed, but I don't feel it. Even about my age, I'm 45. I always get shocked when I think, oh my God, in 5 years' time, I'll be 50. Because for me as an artist, it's almost like when it comes to certain things, time stands still. And as a result, you find that a lot of artists are very childlike, which, it helps them to always have a fresh approach to issues.
I tell you what, I'm feeling healed just by that.
We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the Upside.
Je, una jambo lolote akilini mwako? Je, una shauku kuhusu masuala muhimu? Na je, una maoni ambayo unataka yasikike? Kweli, hili jukwaa ni la kwako. Piga simu au tuandikie kwenda WhatsApp namba alama ya kujumulisha 2760552594 na tutakupigia simu.
Mtangazaji wa habari zetu za Afrika Kusini mjini Johannesburg.
Hivyo unaweza kuwa mshirika kwenye matangazo yetu. Sio mazungumzo tu, ni fursa yako ya kuchangia maoni yako na kushirikiana na jumuiya ya wasikilizaji wanaotamani mtazamo wako. Tufuate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Tembelea tovuti yetu www.channelafrica.co.za na uwe tayari kushiriki na kuchangia maoni yako kwenye Channel Africa. Channel Africa, mtazamo wa Kiafrika.
Africa at Play with Neto Neto Chemane.
16:08 Central African Time. Apologies about the line that got cut off from Lagos, Nigeria. We've got Tony Tonero-Ubane back on the line to finish our conversation. So, Ubane, welcome back. I wanted to find out about Team Nigeria School Sports, a contingent that has arrived back home from Algeria, who finished fourth with 25 medallions. Big ups to the green and white.
Yes, indeed, Neto, I equally apologize to the listeners.
We've lost that line once more to Tony Tonero-Ubane, but nevertheless, we've covered most of our talking points about West African sports. The SABC is pleased to announce the launch of the new self-registration platform. Vendors wishing to do business with the SABC can self-register on our internally developed platform. Vendors are able to access this platform on our website www.sabc.co.za/SABC under e-tenders or self-register at etender.sabc.co.za and follow the prompts. Visit SABC social media pages for more details.
Africa at Play with Neto Neto Chemane on Channel Africa. We are broadcasting to the world about Africa.
16:18 Central African Time. You can never ask for more. It is a great music on the African continent. Thandiswa Mazwai, Revelation. Kenya has beaten Morocco by a goal to nil. That match has ended in favor of Harambee Stars despite collecting a red card. Benny McCarthy and his charges must be exhilarated. Zambia will be taking on Angola at 5 p.m. Central African Time, while South Africa is up against Guinea tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central African Time. Uganda will take on Niger tomorrow at 1900 Central African Time. South Africa coach Molefi says Guinea are a good team and his charges will tread with caution when the two teams meet in an African Nations Championship Chan 2024 group match at the Mandela National Stadium in Kampala tomorrow afternoon. South Africans return to the Mandela National Stadium on Monday, the 11th of August, after sharing the spoils against Algeria 1-1 in their opening match of the tournament at the same venue on Friday, the 9th of August. Let's find out from midfielder Keegan Golley, who says South Africa are in a tough group and every match they will play is very important in ensuring that the team emerges from the group stages.
I think it's a second chance that is given to us. We played the first game, of which we looked at it as an icebreaker. So we have managed to break the ice, and the performance also talks to the results that we got against a solid Algerian team. So we are obviously looking forward to the next game. So like we said at the beginning, we are taking each game as it comes, because you are fully aware that it's a very tough group with teams that are well prepared. So we give respect to every team that is in our group. So our preparation is not different from the first game. We are giving Guinea the respect they deserve. For them to be in this tournament is because of the good performances that they had to give out during the qualifiers. So for that, I think it's another opportunity for our players, for all of us, to come out and show what we are made of. And we are looking forward to a very improved performance from the last game. As of now, we are placed number 4 in the group, because we only have 1 point. So we are fully aware that we can be at the bottom of the group. We have to dig deep in the next match we're going to play. And also looking forward to the third game and to the fourth game, which will be the last game of the group stages. So all the teams have got 3 points, 4 points. We are at 1 point, and Niger is at 0 points. So I think the pressure is on us to play a good game, a good performance. Hopefully good performance will give us good results. And it is the belief we have in the camp to give a good performance all the time. We are on the pitch, or all the time we are preparing our team. So I think it will be a highly technical game. We have seen Guinea playing the last 2 matches, winning the first game, and also losing against the host Uganda in the last match. As much as we're looking at the number of goals that were scored, but when you look at the balance of play, I think they gave a very good account of themselves, and Uganda on the day managed to score goals. So I think we'll be going into this game fully aware that they are a very offensive team. They've got some very good individual players that can hurt you anytime given a chance. So we always give respect to the team and also zoom into those individuals in terms of how we want to play offensively, how we want to play defensively. And the other thing that we have seen of Guinea, they have got very good hitters of the ball. So set plays is also a concern for us when it comes to the moments of the game. That will always determine the results of the game. So transition-wise, they've got a very good number 7, number 10 playing in the middle field, and a very solid centre back in the number number 23 and number 5. So, like I'm saying, it's a good team, but we're also ready. And we came into this tournament with one objective, one mandate, to do well in this tournament.
That was the South African coach, Molefe Ntseki, looking into the match that's still coming up where they will be taking on Guinea. Let's find out what are the thoughts of midfielder Keegan Dolly, who believes that South Africa are in a tough group and every match they play is very important in ensuring that the team emerges from the group stages.
Yeah, we know how important the game tomorrow is, as all the other games that we play. We know that it's not going to be an easy group to come out of, so we know the importance of each and every game. I think we had a very good match against Algeria. That was the first game. Like the coach said, we wanted to break the ice, and just gain confidence. For us, it's just to focus on ourselves, prepare for each and every game, and think of it as a final. We know tomorrow's game is not going to be easy. We've done our homework off the field. For us, it's just to stick to our structure, stick to what we want to achieve as a team, and go out there and perform tomorrow. We take each game as it comes, and tomorrow we're focusing on Guinea. Look, we've obviously, like I said earlier, been doing our homework and analysing our opposition, because we know it's a tough tournament. But we just want to stay true to ourselves. We want to play a type of football that we want to be, true to ourselves and stick to that. For us, it's not to really focus on the opponents too much. It's to try and progress throughout the tournament and get better each game. And we're starting with Guinea. The past game, I think we played well, but obviously we have a lot of things that we still need to improve on, and that's our focus, just to improve each session, improve each game, and hopefully, make it as far as we can, and then firstly make ourselves happy, and then make the country proud in terms of our performances and the way we carry ourselves on the field.
16:25 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. Let's now welcome our other East African correspondent, Sam Mpoza from Kampala, Uganda. Sam Mpoza, welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you, my brother Neto Chemane, and thank you for having me this evening.
Thank you.
It's a very bright evening down here in Kampala.
It must be a bright evening, especially after the Uganda Cranes managed to bounce back after going down by 3-0 to Algeria. They came back to surprise Guinea, winning that match by the same scoreline, 3-0. East Africa is in full vibration. Kenya has beaten the Atlas Lions of Morocco, getting their second victory out of 3 matches they've played, with one being a draw against Angola. Your thoughts on the Uganda Cranes and other East African nations? You must be happy for Taifa Stars, 3 back-to-back victories.
Sure. It's the first time the East African region is hosting the CHAN Championship. And of course, all eyes are on East Africa to see how they will perform. All the 3 East African countries have been going to these games, but the participation was not all that good. Uganda has never gone out of the group stages. I think even Kenya, and I think even Tanzania. So when the tournament comes to East Africa, it means a lot. This is the time for the East African nations to prove that they are also worth being talked about as African giants. You see, like you said, Uganda went down to Algeria 3-0 in the first game. They gave a lot of respect to Algeria. They were too shaky. The Ugandan side was too shaky. They were not committed enough. I don't know why, but after losing this game, I think they saw they had nothing more to lose. So they had to come all out, and yes, on Friday evening, they were able to get a 3-0 win over Guinea. Guinea is also a good side, by the way. Uganda beat Guinea, and so if you just hear it, that if you didn't watch Guinea play against Niger in their first game, you may think it's a weak side. but it's a very, very strong side. But, the Ugandans came in this game without anything to lose because they knew this is their chance. This was their last chance to prove to the crowds back at home that they are actually a national team. Most of these young boys are looking at better prospects, probably from this championship after winning the after performing well. Probably teams, more professional teams that can pay them better money will buy them. But remember, there's also a stake of 1.2 billion Uganda shillings for each game they win. That was put by the government of Uganda. So, and that means every player takes home 30 million Uganda shillings if they win a game. 30 million Uganda shillings, that is equivalent to $10,000. So, $10,000 for a player who actually plays the local league here, and they are only paid probably a monthly salary of around $500 per month. Some of them don't even get that much. They will even get lower than $500 a month. And some of them actually don't get salaries. They only get allowances. Winning allowance, when you draw, you get this much. When you win, you get this. I know some teams here which are playing in the Uganda Premier League, and they're not paying salaries, but they are paying allowances because they don't have money to pay monthly salaries. They will give the players training allowance, transport allowance, but they will not give them salary. So a player who plays in such a team, if they get a chance to actually earn a $10,000 per game, I think they deserve to die a little on the pitch. So, yes, good news for Tanzania. They have won all their games. Yesterday it was a little bit hard. By the way, Madagascar was a very good side. I watched this game. Madagascar did everything that they needed to do in football. They were not lucky enough. But, yes, Tanzania won the game 2-1. That is good for them. Kenya beating Morocco, another very good piece of news, because everyone thought probably Kenya played a weaker side in the first games. Now, when they meet Morocco, because remember Morocco in their first game, they won it convincingly. So everyone would think that they were going to Kenya was going to find a problem beating Morocco. But when they win this game, that means that is good news for them. So now, back home in Kampala, Uganda now still has a very big mountain to climb because they have to play the Bafana in their last game. But on Monday next week, on Monday tomorrow, they are playing Niger. Niger is a good side, but they can beat Niger. But now the most difficult side that they are going to face is the Bafana. Because, you see, the problem, if you compare the Bafana and then the Desert Foxes of Algeria and then Uganda, you'd find that the Ugandan league is not very professional. So every good player that comes up in this league ends up being bought by by teams abroad or outside Uganda. So all the good players in Uganda, there would be good players in Uganda are playing from elsewhere. Most of them, more than, I think, 60 players are out of the country. So, which is not the same for South Africa, not the same for Algeria, because South Africa has most of their good players, because the league is paying. So, they are able to retain their good players. If there are some players who are out of the country, there are few. The same thing for Algeria. Most of their very good players are in the country. So if there are any who are out and they are very good, there are few in France and probably mostly in France. So Uganda, most of the players who are actually supposed to be very good players are not playing in the country because the league in the country is the teams in the country cannot pay them well. So the ones who stay home are those who are still struggling. And the moment they show that they are good, they are bought and taken away. So that is why the Uganda Cranes would not be as good as the Desert Foxes of Algeria, will not be as good as the Bafana of South Africa. But they have one advantage, that they are playing from home. So that probably can give them an edge over the Bafana in the last game. So that is it about CHAN, but I think we are watching a very good tournament throughout East Africa. The CAF organization calculated well, because if you look at the crowds, like yesterday on Friday, we had a very big crowd at the Mandela National Stadium. The same that happens in Moi International Stadium in Kasarani, Kenya, Nairobi, and then also at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam. Because home teams, when they're going to play, they attract so many people to come and watch and support their teams, which would not be the case if this tournament was maybe being played in one country where there's only one home side that would attract a very big crowd. So you can only be assured of a big crowd for one game when the home team is playing. But now here you have 3 different home teams which attract big crowds. So that means if each home team is playing 3 games, so you are assured of big crowds in 9 games, and that is profit. That is good income for CAF. Other than where you have a tournament in one country and it's only one national team that can attract a big crowd, and then if they play 3 games and probably sometimes they don't qualify to the knockout stages and they're out, then you only have big crowds for only 3 games. So I think CAF calculated well, and I'm sure they're going to have this now rotate all over Africa. For each tournament they're going to have, I'm sure they'll push to have 3 or 2 countries co-hosting their tournaments.
Semboza is our correspondent based in Kampala, Uganda. Sorry to cut you off, Semboza. Continue.
Yeah, I was saying back to you, Mr. Neto.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Let's also talk about the Federation of East Africa Secondary School Sports Association FISA Games that are scheduled to take place in Kakamega, Kenya. Uganda sending a big number of students to Kenya. Tell us more.
Yes, Uganda is sending about 1,600 and more students participants to these games. And now these are the only students who qualified from the national games in Uganda, because the national games attracted more numbers. So for each sport they selected 3 best teams that will go to represent the country in the East Africa Secondary School Games. They call it FIESA because it's Federation of East Africa Secondary School Sports Association. That's in short, it's FIESA. So Uganda is sending 1,600, more than 1,600 students there. Kenya is sending more than 1,300 students. Actually, it's about 1,400. And then we have Tanzania bringing in around 300, and Rwanda and Burundi. So we are looking at these games having more than 4,000 students in one place, in one city. Just only the students. Leave alone the support staff, the teachers, the games teachers, the drivers of the buses. Most of them all of them are traveling to Nairobi, to Kakamega by bus, because I'm sure from Uganda you will see more than 150 buses moving to Kenya. So this means that Kakamega is going to be a very busy place starting on Tuesday, because the arrival date is Tuesday 13th. That's the arrival date. And then the games start on Wednesday. They will go up to 22nd of this month. So for close to 2 weeks, in Kakamega, there will be no other business apart from sports. These young people are going to be competing in 25 different sports disciplines. 25. So I'm seeing the region, East Africa, growing its own Olympics. Actually, I was asking the organizing secretary, the FIESA Games organizing secretary, that are you trying to build a schools Olympics in East Africa? He said, yes, that is where we are headed to. And he's saying, with time, they want to see themselves participating in more than 30 games per meeting. Every time they meet, the students should be able to compete in more than 30 different sports disciplines. So this is good for the region, and this is why it has attracted other countries to come and participate. Ivory Coast is bringing 2 teams, but Nigeria is also coming. So I'm sure with time, more African countries would want to come and compete here. And of course, that means a lot for this region, because this region has always been known for 2 sports, football and athletics. If you talk about East Africa, the first ask names like Chepchoge, Cheptegei, Kipsiro, those are athletes in Kenya, from Kenya and Uganda, and probably some few footballers who have made a name, like Wanyama of Kenya, Mbwana Samata of Tanzania, then Sonyango of Uganda. These are guys they would ask you about when you went to elsewhere in Africa and you talked about East Africa and sports. But now with time, we are going to have more people, more young people coming up and playing different games. And that means when we go to the Olympic Games, these East African countries will be able to present more than 10 teams or even 20 teams for different 20 sports disciplines. And that would mean that they have a chance to compete for more medals. It has always been a problem for Africa, and especially East Africa, because you go to the Olympic Games and you take only 3 teams. You have athletics, boxing, and a few swimmers who have qualified with a wild card. And then you are going to compete for medals with countries like America, who are bringing almost 500 participants for about maybe 30 sports disciplines, even more. And you're competing with such people. So there's no way you can compete, because first of all, they're beating you in terms of numbers, so you cannot compete with them. So you can only win in athletics, you get 4 to 3 medals, and then you jubilate, but that is not enough. So this whole arrangement of school sports that has actually now taken a center stage in East Africa will actually help African sport, because I'm sure when Ivory Coast comes to participate this time around, they will go back with a lesson which probably they will sow a seed in West Africa, and West Africa will take on this format. And Nigeria is also coming, so that means 2 West African countries are coming to see what happens in East Africa. And when they go back to West Africa, they can form their own federation and also do the West Africa School Sports Association, which can also bring together schools like that. Now, I'm praying that one day, Southern Africa can send a team to these games. They can also see the same and go back and sow the same seed down in South Africa, and then they form a federation there, and then the South African countries can always come back together and play school games. Mass sport, actually, the word is mass sport. Having sports in each discipline, giving students exposure in each discipline, so that they grow up doing these sports. And in the future, they can compete in the Olympic Games, then they can also do professional sport, and then they can earn, and that means better life for themselves, better life for their families, and better lives in their communities. One person earns big money, comes back, he invests it in the community, where he starts something, a business in the community, the members of the community get jobs, and then he pays them good money, and they can also be able to look after their families. That's how the money chain moves. It has to start with one person, and then the entire community benefits. Back to you, sir.
That is Simon Boza, our correspondent based in Kampala, Uganda, talking to us about East African sport. And Simon Boza, I must say that it is heartwarming to see that East African students are in vibration in preparation of this Fiesta Games that will be taking place in Kakamega. Like you've rightfully said, this seed must spread out to the rest of the continent. And I'm also excited about a potential notion of schools Olympics. And I'm certain that where there's a will, there's a way. Thank you so much for updating us with the latest in East African sport. Have a great afternoon further.
Thank you so much, my brother Neto.
16:43 Central African Time. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll find out what's coming up on Mix Vibration with Anika Lounge. This is Africa at Play.
She builds, she leads, she rises. This August, join Channel Africa in celebrating the women who shape our communities, shift narratives, and carve out a future on their own terms.
These women together ought to be able to turn it right again.
From Cape Town to Kigali, Lagos to Lusaka, African women are rewriting the script. Here's to courage, creativity, and unstoppable progress. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Your weekend sports fix. Across the continent, it's Africa at Play with Neto Chemane, bringing African sports to life.
16:44 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. In just a moment, we're going to find out what's coming up on Mix Vibration with Anika Lounge. If you're a basketball fan, let's update you on the latest in the Asia Cup. This morning, we witnessed Qatar up against Australia, and Qatar went down by 82 to 110. That is 110 in favor of Australia, and Guam played against Japan, going down by 63-102, and South Korea up against Lebanon is at 5 p.m. Central African Time, while Syria takes on Iran at 8 p.m. Central African Time. In the Bolivia Liga Basket Final Four, we've witnessed Atlético Nacional Univ against Univ SOS 71-77, and Leones de Potosi up against Pichincha Potosi 92-84, and there's still action expected at 1900 between Sampaio women and Sesi Arakwa women, and that match will take place at 1900 Central African Time. In Canada, CEBL at 2000 Scarborough Shooting Stars will take on Montreal Alliance, and at 2100 it is Ottawa Blackjacks up against Vancouver Bandits, and at midnight is Edmonton Stingers up against Winnipeg Sea Bears. We will continue to update you on different sporting codes, but for now, let's tell you that Australia beat South Africa by 17 runs in the first of a three-match T20 series in Darwin. Chasing 179 runs, South Africa were restricted to 161 for 9 from 20 overs. Rian Rickelton was the top scorer for South Africa with a 55 ball 71. Josh Hazelwood and Ben Dashwis have picked up 3 wickets each. Earlier, South Africa skipper Aiden Makram won the toss and opted to bowl first. Australia were in a bit of trouble, losing a few early wickets. However, Tim David scored a 52 ball 83 to take the host to 178 from 20 overs. Kwena Mapaka was the pick of the bowlers for South Africa with 4 wickets. With the result, Australia takes a 1-0 lead. The second T20 International is scheduled on Tuesday at the same venue. The 3-match T20 International series will be followed by a match ODI series for South Africa. Here's SA top scorer Rian Rickelton.
Lucy said I shouldn't be too hard on myself. I just struggled to get going, I guess. Maybe, no excuse. I really tried to hit the ball and I just kept clothing it. So, yeah, a bit disappointed with the way that it looks like a little bit better than what it felt. But in the end, it just wasn't enough to, I didn't find my groove quick enough in order to, get the team to over the line. Maybe not our best chance, but I thought we bowled really well. They came out playing their shots, and we created plenty of opportunities. I think if we took that one on Tim, when I think when he was on about 40 or 50, we could have bowled him out for 120, and that's a whole different game and a different conversation we're having. But I think the exciting thing is that, they came out guns blazing and we managed to create a lot of chances. So, that's quite exciting for us as a group. The fact that we could, pin such a formidable batting lineup down a little bit. So like I said, it's exciting. 1 or 2 things to probably tweak in the batting and just a bit more smarts and hopefully, a bit better of a platform to start off. But I think the guys are pretty confident in what we have in the change room, and hopefully we can, replicate or bring out something better on Tuesday. Yeah, it catches you off guard a little bit sometimes when you haven't played T20 cricket in a while. I guess it's a bit like the IPL in a way. You know, the guys hit the first ball for 6. So international cricket's a little bit different. Sometimes you maybe hold back a little bit, you know, because it's probably, I want to say, more at stake. But yeah, they definitely came out with full intent today. But like I said, full intent's always going to create 1 or 2 chances, and I thought the guys held the nerve really, really well. I'm maybe not sure about the reasons. I think, yeah, I knew that he was going to come up to the top. I think the way he played in the IPL as well for Lucknow was quite dominant too. So yeah, so I think he's our captain. He's quite a positive player. We all know that, and if he gets going, you know, it's really tough to stop him. So I'm looking forward to seeing him get going soon. Relaxed, very quiet in the change room, but you can see he had a bit of a go at Tim there, but he's very competitive. He backs his ability, which is great. It's cool to see, you know, a young guy stand up to, you know, Australia in their backyard. It's very promising for South African cricket. And yeah, like I say, he's quite a relaxed guy in the change room, but when he crosses that line, he's got a bit of white line fever, which is again quite exciting for us.
Je, una jambo lolote akilini mwako? Je, una shauku kuhusu maswala muhimu? Na je, una maoni ambayo unataka yasikike? Kweli, hili jukwaa ni la kwako. Piga simu au tuandikie kwenda WhatsApp namba alama ya kujumulisha 2760552594 na tutakupigia simu.
Mtangazaji wa habari zetu za Afrika Kusini mjini Johannesburg.
Hivyo unaweza kuwa mshirika kwenye matangazo yetu. Sio mazungumzo tu, ni fursa yako ya kuchangia maoni yako na kushirikiana na jumuiya ya wasikilizaji wanaotamani mtazamo wako. Tufuate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Tembelea tovuti yetu www.channelafrica.co.za na uwe tayari kushiriki na kuchangia maoni yako kwenye Channel Africa. Channel Africa, mtazamo wa Kiafrika.
Africa at Play with Neto Neto Chemane.
16:50 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome. Let's now welcome my producer, Andisiwe Fagimalo Zabona Mali, to the Producer's Corner. Andy Mali, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, Neto. Good afternoon to the listeners of Africa at Play across the continent and across the globe.
What's your African story of the week?
Well, Neto, it has to do with everything, Chen, you know. It was nice to see how some teams, you know, stood out, you know. Kenya being one of those teams. I remember on the show you mentioned how Tanzania also dominated in their group after playing 3 games, winning all of those 3 games, you know. So they have 100% record into the competition, and also given the fact that they have scored a lot of goals in the process, you know. But for me, Kenya was outstanding in terms of how they dealt, because they haven't lost in the competition. Yes, they did manage a draw, but I feel like everything, Chen, it was also nice to see how South Africa is also winning that first game, because many people were shocked that Mulufin Tseg will be the guy who's responsible, but it also trying to explain as journalists that no, this is a local-based team, so it also needs a local-based coach, you know, to help these guys, you know, in terms of advancing their football. And Semboza also touched on many things that also affect Chen in terms of how some countries are really not strong coming into this tournament, because the players that play in local leagues, they are not getting paid. So I mean, there's less motivation going into the actual games as well, you know. So if you compare a country like that, players don't get paid in their domestic football league, and the players that get millions of dollars, you know. So you can imagine how it's like on the football field. So issues around Chen have been topping my agenda when it comes to sports stories for the week, and hopefully that we'll see beautiful football in terms of the game that we'll be playing. South African coach also promising that they will do their best in terms of winning that game tomorrow. Zambia also is one of those teams, you know, that we had hopes, but it was not to be. So far, they are not doing that good, you know. So very interesting one, Neto, when it comes to Chen.
And some of these leagues across the African continent are still not run as professional as they should be. But let's hope that with the quality of football that we are witnessing in East Africa, these football associations from various parts of the continent will pull in the direction of professionalizing all these leagues and have a scenario where players can be remunerated for being players, because a career in football and other sporting codes is a short one. Let's move to sad news. Brain injuries in boxing still a concern. 2 fighters dying in Japan. Sad news indeed.
Well, Neto, it's very, very sad. It's not something new when it comes to the sport, but it was really, really sad, especially the news that came in today, because I think the other one died later last week, or let's say a few days ago, but the sad news came also today, from the World Boxing Organization. I mean, this is one of the top 4 organizations in boxing, so you wouldn't expect something like this to happen. You'd expect it to the lower organization that maybe do not prioritize the health of boxers, but from a big organization like a WBO, well, something very, very, very sad. Yoji Saito, promising boxer, and if you fight for this organization, that also means that you're someone who's a talented athlete, when it comes to boxing. So it's very sad, Neto, it's very sad. We've seen it happening here in South Africa, where people, end up losing their lives, or losing their minds in the process. We've seen a South African boxer as well being knocked out, Lutu Molamati, in Ireland. He spent some time, like 3 months in ICU, so it's not something new to the sport, but it's always shocking, Neto. I mean, death is not something that you say, I know, we're used to it. No. So it was very sad to see what happened with those boxers in Japan. Very sad.
16:55 for Central African time. Before we say goodbye to Andy Mali, your parting shot?
Well, Neto, promising weekend, school sports. I wish I was going to Kenya with Semboza, because I know he will be there for almost 2 weeks. He's leaving. So if the management is listening, my passport is ready. I believe yours is ready as well, So
ready.
Yeah, we're looking towards to that, what will be happening in Kenya.
Exciting indeed. And before we say salute to our listeners, let's welcome Mr. Jolene Nsungu, who's going to tell us more about what's coming up on Mix Vibration. Mr. Nsungu, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, Neto. Voilà, bonjour à tous nos auditeurs de Mix Vibration. Nous les rassurons que dans quelques minutes, nous allons décoller en Afrique pour leur passer de bons moments dans la musique, mais surtout aussi participer à cette émission en invitant notre invité qui est Yann Eli, un artiste musicien d'Afrique. Il va nous proposer de la bonne musique. Merci, Neto.
Merci. It is the time of the afternoon where you've got to stay tuned to Channel Africa, because there's still an exciting lineup coming your way. Mix Vibration coming up as we say goodbye. Thank you to Mike Mokwena, our audiovisuals team member, as well as Tidimalo, Tito Fabulous Makau, our technical operator. Not forgetting our social media guru, Jumiselema, and my producer, Andisiwe Fagimalo Zabona Mali. And from the rest of the Africa at Play team, thank you for listening. My name is Neto Neto Chemane. Hosiati konyangazi mumkhatsho phandle kunjani moyani voko tendele. Africa at Play asideleli siyashaya. Oh yeah.